And we are making these super duper awesome monsters. Maybe a flying purple people eater. I guess there's no wings, but maybe they don't need wings. What we're going to go through with this, you're going to experiment with hair and particle systems and modifiers and some textures and some colors, obviously. And the manipulating of surfaces through a variety of different methods, different tools. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started making something awesome. All right, here's Blender. Let's get started. I'm going to click General, and now that I like to hide the camera and the light, just get them out of the way. Here's our handy dandy cube. What we're going to want to do with this is we're going to increase the scale of Z. We're doubling it. Yes, that looks great. And then I'm going to go in here and add a subdivision surface modifier. Except we want it to be 2. And that is perfect. And actually, that should be all we need in this part. So let's go into edit mode. And in edit mode, we are going to add a loop cut right here, except let's take a look. We're actually going to need 2 of these guys, and then we want to mush them down. A bit smaller. Oh yeah, 0.2 is perfect. Yes. And then we need another loop cut around the whole thing this way. Nope. I'm going to go to this edge, and it should, yep, that's what we need. Click. Great. All right. And with those in place, what I'm going to want to do now is grab this section. We're going to make a mouth area, the big lip. And so let's go to see-through or x-ray mode. And I'm just going to grab all this section. Can turn that off now. And then we're going to want to extrude, but I'm going to want to extrude along normals. So I'll click on that and I'll pull. Nope, wrong way. And I'm going to do a negative 0.2 maybe. It's kind of, it will vary if you want your mouth more prominent or, well, not. Yeah, I'm definitely liking that. Well, maybe even negative 0.22. Just a teeny bit more. Great. All right. And now let's do the eye in the center of the face. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and make another loop cut right here, except once again, we're going to want 2 of these guys, and then we're going to want to mush them down. Oh, that's way too far down. Let's do a 0.65 maybe. Yes, that is looking good. And now with that in place, I'm going to now just select just these 2 lines. So make sure you're in line mode. I grabbed these 2. I'm going to do edge subdivide, and I want to subdivide it by 2. Okay. With it subdivided by 2, I will now use face select, and I am going to actually just increase just the center a bit. Oh, this right here. Yes, exactly that. 1.3. Now I'm going to inset face, inset faces. Actually, no, I'm not. Don't do that. We're not going to inset. Now, with this setup, I'm going to do face extrude. Whoa. I couldn't see what it was doing. Let's see. Definitely not this, but that's fine anyways. I can do negative 0.2. And let's see how deep this is. That's looking good. Let's do negative 0.35. Yeah, I'm going to stick with negative 0.35 for this part of the monster. Now, the top of the monster, we need to get those long armish eye things, which definitely is the technical name for them. So I'm going to select both of these. I held shift, or you could just do this, right? And then I am going to do a edge subdivide. And this is going to be, again, somewhat up to you. I'm going to click this up one more, I believe. Yes, I am liking that. Now keep in mind, the more you do this, the flatter the head of the monster will become. And that being said, I'm going to click off now. I'm going to select this part just to give it a little bit of roundness. And I'm going to use grab and pull it up 0.15 maybe. Yeah, okay. Now with that done, what we're going to do is only make the head, the arm, eye thing on one part of the body. And then we will be bringing it to, we will be mirroring it on both sides. So let me use select. I'm going to click here on this part of, on this portion of our monster. And I'm actually going to do one more time in edge. Oh, we don't want to do a subdivide. Just kidding. Ooh, and actually I want to be in edge mode. I want to click this edge, or I can do it like that. Now I got both edges, edge, subdivide, and that's perfect because now we can be in face mode. Click on this portion of the body. Let me get on X, and I'm going to do an extrude and pull. Yeah, negative 0.4 is looking good. And now let me back up a bit. And we are just going to do an extrude again, right? So pull. And negative 0.4 is fine, except this time we're going to want to move it to give it the turn. So I'm going to pull this way. Yeah, let's do 0.4y and maybe 0.3x. Let's take a look at that. And see, I can tell I'm going to want more on the X. So maybe a 0.5 even there. And we don't want it to get too, I don't know, sharp looking at the end, but that's looking good. So 0.5 and a 0.4, right? And then I'm going to do another extrude. So let me go back here. And let's just turn this to extrude region and pull up. I'm going to do 0.7, I believe. Let me see where we're at though. Yeah, perfect. So this will actually be the final part, and I want it to be more square. So maybe not a 0.7, maybe a 0.3. We want this portion of it to be square. Yeah, that is looking good. Let me go into rotate. And we want this flat. Okay. All right. And now with that flat, we are going to go extrude one more time. Flat and basically the same size. Right here. Yeah. 0.3. All right. Now let's go into face select mode. Select this face and scale. I'm actually going to be doing 3, 3, and 3 to make space for the eye. That should be good. And now with it at 3, 3, and 3, the next step to this is actually to extrude it out one more time, just to make sure we have room for the eye. Okay, yeah, I'll extrude at 0.2. I am then going to do an inset. So for that, you can also use the inset. And now I want to do an inset, and there should be inset. Yep, right here. I'm going to do it. That's way too much, actually. We can take a look right on. We want to do teeny tiny, so I'm going to be 0.02 maybe. Yeah, that's looking good. And now I'm going to do an extrude region and push inward. Something like this, so we can fit our eye. Negative 0.3 is great. Awesome. And so now we have an eye socket, we have the mouth. What we want to do now is teeth and legs. So for the legs, we can do that first. Let's take, the legs are relatively simple. I'm going to grab both these planes. I'm going to do an edge subdivide. That's what I want. And then I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to pull them down. And then, yeah, 1 should be good. And then kind of a short, stubby look. So let's scale these inward. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And then just to have them flat on the bottom, what I'm going to do at this point is do an inset. Click. Whoops. I'm going to do an inset. And yeah, that's great. 0, but it just gives them the flat appearance. Okay. And I am enjoying our monster. So now let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's get this mirrored. So here's our object, of course. We want to cut it in half. We should also think about adding color at this point. So I'm going to hit X and let's do material, flip into this mode. I liked a purple. Of course, add whatever color you want. Right? And then in undercolor, what I did is to give it a more spotted look. I did a texture, this one, and subsurface so it can be seen. Don't entirely remember. That's much too prominent, I think. Just kind of more muted. I don't want this big of a scale, or did I? Oh, I want a big scale, I think. Yeah, I did like a 0.10. I like the randomness. I liked all of this. And you can kind of pick by playing with this number how visible the actual texture is. Okay, so put on with that. And then for the lip, what I did is go back into edit mode, and I just clicked on this face panel, and then I'm going to turn. I'm holding down the shift key, this, turn, hold shift, this. And what I did is I took my color, and I'm going to get the hex here, whatever that is, 8F1EE7. I copied it, so I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'm going to do a new color, new. Maybe I'll write in what this is, mouth, and I pasted it here, and then I just made it much darker and hit assign. And that's how I got the appearance of a lip. Oh, and the tooth. So for that, let's go in here, face select, I'm going to click, I'm going to do edge, subdivide, and then I'm going to pick this one and do, let me just grab these two edges here, edge, subdivide, and then I used face select. Notice a pattern right here. I did face, inset face, sure, 0.02, and then I'm going to extrude region. And you can make your tooth however large you want. Ooh, actually, no, that's perfect. However large you want. Let me see here. And I'm going to, though, scale mine down at least with the scale tool. Yeah, we'll say it goes to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay. And then let's give it its own color. So to do that, oh, maybe we want this fatter. Let's pull it out some. There. So I increased it by 2.3, I guess. All right. Now its own color. So let's go new, new. It's just basically going to be white. I might make this a little bit lighter. Okay. And then I'm going to hit, oh, notice we don't have it all. I'm going to hold, I'm going to start selecting more of it. But then what you can also do is select more, and that should grab, yeah, it looks like that grabbed the area of the tooth. Okay. If that's not working for you, we could also click Y, and then I could click see-through or X-ray mode, and then boom, that will grab my tooth, and I'm going to assign it this toothy color. And if you get this result like I do here, notice it doesn't go to the bottom. This is fine, because what we can do with this, I'm going to do a loop cut then, right here on the center. I'm going to hold and just pull down. And now that will go all the way down. Okay. All right, let's zoom out a bit. Looking awesome. So let's go back into object mode. We want to add an eye and an eye. To do that, I'm actually going to hold the shift key and right click to move the cursor. So let me get to the center of this, and you can kind of see the center. So again, on my keyboard, I'm holding the shift key, and I'm going to right click here, and you can see this move. That's called the 3D cursor. If you can't do that, you could just create what I'm about to and drag it up to this. So now with the 3D cursor there, I'm going to add mesh UV sphere, which is huge. So let's resize. Let's see, here's the scale. I'm going to do 0.25 maybe, 0.25, 0.25. Right, and it looks like that's too small, so 0.35, 0.35, 0.35. Let's take a look. That might work. Let's pull it forward. It doesn't seem... It's not quite touching the edges, which we actually do want. So let's try 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. This might be... Yes, that is perfect. So now we just need to cut this circle in half. Go into edit mode, I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to hit see-through. I am on face select now, and I'm just going to drag and grab all of this. I think some of that might be visible, so let's do that again. Yeah, that. And then I'm going to do mesh, delete, faces. Let's go out of see-through and check. So it looks like we still have a little bit showing here. So what I will do now, I'm going to click X. I am going to go into object mode, and I'm just going to shrink it down a little. Yeah, 0.95, hopefully. Looks good. Okay. And for the pupil, I want to click on this. I am going to do a object duplicate. I'm going to click down right away. I am then going to shrink it down. So I'm still in scale mode. You can see it here. Maybe a pupil that's that big. So 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. And now let's drag it out. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. You do not want Y. We do want X. I'm liking 0.32. While we're here, let's throw a color on this. There we are. And you can see it if we do that. Okay. And then let's also make sure to actually add a white color to this. There we go. Looking good. We have one eye, so with one eye, we can make two eyes. I'm going to click on this part of the eye. Well, actually, let me click on the pupil first, and then this part of the eye. Now I'm going to do object join, and then I'm going to do object duplicate, and I'm going to click down right away. And now we have an eye for down here. I'm going to pull down. I pulled down negative, let's try -3 roughly, yeah. And then I'm going to push over. Yeah, I pushed over, let's say -1 roughly. We can look at the placement of the eye though, which might be easier. Here's my placement of this. So Y should be 0. And now let's take a look at our X. X, let's make maybe a 0.7. Let's take a look at the front. Oh, that is perfect placement. Definitely. I'll move it down just a hair. And perfect. So here's where mine is located. It is 1Z. Oh, nope. It's 1.07Z. It's 0.7x0y. Now let's duplicate. So I'm going to go ahead and click on our friend here and go into edit mode again. And edit, nope. We need to apply, finally, our subdivision surface modifier. So let me apply that. Let me go into edit mode. Let me highlight. Ooh, I need to be in X-ray. I'm going to select all of this. And this goes over the edge, so that's not what we want. And again, you don't want it to go over the edge, so I guess let's just start with this part, and I'll go from there. Mesh. Delete. Faces. And that should be fine. This actually might work as is, because we're going to use a merge. So good. Let's now go into object mode. And with this selected, let's go ahead and make sure we do object, apply. I'm going to do location, rotation, scale. And then I want to add a modifier. And the modifier we want is mirror modifier. And not X, but Y. Okay. And I do want clipping. And then I'm going to set this from that to 0.01. And let's just take a look around. Yes, perfect. All right. And then the eye. For the eye, what we're going to want to do is just do object, duplicate. Whoops. I don't want that. I'm going to set this to 0, Y to -1 maybe, and then this to 0. So we can kind of get an idea here. -2, -2.2. And perfect. So now we have just the hair step left. And for that, what we're going to want to do is click on our monster here. We can go ahead and apply this. And now let's go ahead, object, apply, object, quick effects, quick fur, and let's go toy with our fur here. So obviously it's up to you. I like having advanced. I was going to set mine to like 500, I was thinking, and then let me zoom in, and I am still liking that, so 500 it is. The length, 0.2 maybe, I don't know, that's kind of long, maybe 0.05. I might just keep it at 0.1 after all. And then what I really like to do is the physics. So I'm going to set this at 0.1. Let's see what happens. And the hair kind of gets a bit more wild. Right? And you can also mess with the seed, which will switch up your hair a bit. Maybe you want super long hair or just a little of it. Regardless, it is definitely fun to add hair to your monster. I'm going to throw a bit of color on it. You can also separate out objects to just add hair to certain areas. So fur material, I was liking a greenish color. Not overpowering. Oh, and I do want it shorter, like I was saying. Oh, maybe just less. I'm just going to try out a few different numbers here. And maybe 300. Something like this. I am liking. And ta-da! We have a quirky, fun, scary, not scary monster. All we need to do is render. Let me go to render mode. Let me do view, sidebar, view, and then let's go ahead and get this light on. Camera's up. The light we want to change up though. Let me click on it. You want your light to be a sun, and maybe I'm not an 8. And then I'm going to turn this to 0.5. If you want a lot of shadows, cool. Let's take a look at our shadow here. Turn this down to maybe a 0.5. And then, let me look through the camera view. I'm going to do lock camera to view. Zoop, zoop, zoom out. Maybe something like this. Also shade smoothing. So let's not lock it to view anymore. We got that settled. I'm going to real quick transfer into this. To smooth out the shape of it, we can always do object, shade smooth, and then let's also do that on the eyes. So object, shade smooth, object, shade smooth. And now that they're all smooth, I'm going to go here and just do film, transparent. You could even do a color background, so if you don't want it transparent, we could always go over here and then do a background. I don't know what a monster background looks like. Ooh. I'm going to turn down the hair a bit. Let's look at, I am looking at rendered view. Oh, can we? You know what? Let's check out 50. Oh, 50 I'm loving. So let's see. Render. Actually, before we render, let's get these teeth hair free. Teeth should not have hair. So you would just go into here again, by the way. You do edit mode, and we could just zoom in on this section. I'm going to click Y, and I'm just going to grab these teeth. Make sure you're in X-ray mode like this. Yep, with them grabbed, I'm going to do select. Nope, I'm going to do mesh, separate, selection. And now let's go back into object mode, click off, click on a tooth or the teeth, and I'm going to get rid of this particle system. And now we have hairless tooth and render. Boom. Pretty awesome. And I hope yours is awesome too. Make sure to hit like, make sure to hit subscribes. It gives me warm fuzzies and it makes the world a better place. If yours is particularly cool, tell me about it below in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I think I'm going to mess around with colors on mine now. But ta-da!